mark this under something else that RBN warned the boutique left about and got right as they got wrong. Something else that RBN in a very short time, we literally about to turn 2 years on, only 2 years. Only 2 years old, 2 months from now in April. But we constantly get stuff right that the boutique left is, I have to say, purposely getting wrong at this point. We have done segments dating as early as last year, calling out the Biden administration, lied to the American people that they are expanding the IRS to go after rich people. And this is, once again, this is something that RBN was right about from day one. This is my tweet in August of 2022. And this lie was being repeated so much that I had to tweet this out, and it got over 4,000 likes. Because so many people see it, people saw how ridiculous it was that not only you had liberals saying that Biden is expanding the IRS agency because it's built under capitalism that is designed to go after the workers, not the rich. But Joe Biden, Jim Crow Joe, who have a history of having regressive economic policies, he looked at the IRS, he told them to cut it out. And then after Joe Biden told the IRS to cut it out, they said, you know what? We are not going to go after poor people no more. This is the reality. This is the political fan fiction that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez lives in. This is the political fan fiction that Katie Porter lives in. And people call RBN toxic because we go after AOC and the boutique left because they virtue signal over Medicare for all. They are class enemies of the highest order. You guys understand? This is AOC, just one of many. I literally had to pick what tweet I want to pick. I picked this one because this one pretty recent. Like, if you search AOC and IRS, constantly defending the IRS. You had Ted Cruz that abolished the IRS. The AOC knows how Republicans are frothing at the mouth to abolish the few enforcement mechanisms that would target that would target large-scale tax evasion and neo-Nazi groups. CJ, AOC is telling us that Joe Biden, Jim Crow Joe, is expanding the IRS to go after white supremacists.
Like, do you think she's really getting this wrong? This is where I'm now starting to get into like, this is not, did I do that? This is not that. This is not that. This is a person can't keep getting things this wrong unintentionally. And if she's doing it intentionally, what the fuck are we doing here with her?
And people like Kyle Kalinske will tell you that she acted in good faith. Like, he swore them down and called everyone who say AOC is a bad faith actor. He said people that say AOC is corrupted like a grifter and shit. That's like his criticism of Jimmy. He said Jimmy, he say that these people are sellouts, but they're not sellouts. This is why what we do at RBN is so critical. Because other people like Kyle and them, they say, we will have disagreements with the squad. No, we point out why they are frauds. And not disagreements. They are frauds. We did a segment on AOC on Maddow that you have not seen on Kyle Kalinski's channel. They not see on David Doe channel because they don't want to show their audience this side of her. This blatant sellout.
Their audience don't want to see that side of them. If they did that to their own audience, they'll start losing people.
Yeah, that's true. I remember Ron Pacone got a pushback.
They cultivated this audience. They cultivated this AOC stan, Bernie stan sort of audience. So if they can't do that, but they literally skip over shit. Try to find Twitter files on Majority Report. Try to find Twitter files on Humanists. Try to find that shit on Rational National. But these are independent reports. Just a joke. Go ahead.
Yeah, they literally lie by omissions to their audiences. They are propagandists at the same level of MSNBC. They will never show this tweet, do a breakdown while she lying to you. They will never do a breakdown on how she was lying and gaslighting people on Rachel Maddow, how she was engaging in anti-blackness by propping up the George Floyd bill. So this is why RBN has to exist. And this is why we do what we do, because no one else will explain that these people are corrupt and they are acting in bad faith. They will say at best, remember the break, they will say at best, I am critical of them sometimes. I disagree with some of their actions. No, they are corrupt and this is why. Look at what AOC is saying here. Let's break down why it's ridiculous. AOC is saying that we need to expand the IRS that historically, and we're going to get to this very soon, always went after poor people, but the same way that they use white supremacy and domestic terrorism as a way to gain political capital in order to fund the Capitol Police more, They said, "Oh, we need to fund the Capitol Police more because we need to go after Trumpers." And then the Capitol Police turned around and went after the indigenous people who protested Line 3. Then they started going after black people and surveillancing the proletariat in the area. The same way they did that, they are doing with the IRS or any Biden policy. When they say, well, Biden has to expand the IRS because if they don't expand the IRS, that's our only mechanism to go after neo-Nazism. Said the person that is funding the Azov Battalion. Said the person that is sending billions of dollars to Nazis want to fund the IRS to go after Nazis. So, okay. So anyway, this one of many example of AOC bullshitting people and lying about the IRS. Then you had Katie Porter, who the new progressive darling, man, Crystal Ball was really excited when Katie Porter announced her race against Dianne Feinstein.
For us, Nick, maybe we should start covering Katie Porter more. Katie Porter is that progressive that's kind of flying under the radar of radical leftists from really critiquing her. She is terrible, my dude.
She's like Ro Khanna level. She
is terrible. But if you go and look at the content, Majority Report, all these people, they act like she is the second coming. I was like, Katie Porter, nigga, she is terrible, and she is literally Orange County. So she's probably her area is probably like 30 minutes from where I'm at, and she is awful. These milquetoast people, Nick, they put up they talk about them like you and I talk about Shama, and it's it's so crazy to me. I'm like, what? And now Jason Call, and he ran last year. Jason Call, friend of the show, he was on the network, and I'm not here to badmouth him, but he's really the only one right now pushing Mary Williamson, and he's saying stuff like, we need somebody that's really gonna bring it to him. Somebody that's I was like, she is none of that. She is none of that. My dude, Jason, she is not any of that.
The person who can't handle an interview with a college dropout is going to handle the wrath of the establishment for challenging the president, which we're going to get into it very soon. It ties into this narrative that I'm building here. Because we have Katie Porter. I'm going to go back to her. Let me pull this receipt up. Katie Porter, once again, a staunch Zionist, support Ukraine funding at infinite levels, support funding the police more, a standard Democratic Party liberal who do these, and I would say, like on a professional managerial class level, the presentations of her chalkboard are fascinating. Like if you look at like her setup, like you can tell, you can see why the professional managerial class loves her, because she do these really high research showcase presentations where she wags her finger at the Wall Street.
Things that they can relate to from the classes and colleges that they went to, right?
Yeah.
That's how they can relate. Go ahead.
Yes, but it literally meaningless, right? Like it's literally meaningless because she support policy that literally prop these people up. And they mostly for show, and literally nothing comes of these little showcases. So because of these showcases, despite her not having any policy that goes with it, people believe that she's progressive because she do these shows or whatever. But her record is horrible. Record on war, her record on Israel, everything is horrible. Katie Porter defends vote to expand the IRS. And let me tell you, Katie Porter, because she had these very sophisticated professional managerial class presentations, they picked her to be the one to manufacture consent on the IRS. And I covered this months ago as well. I don't know if you remember this. Like she was on MSNBC and she was giving this long spill where she was like, yeah, you guys, you understand the IRS is different this time. We're really going to go after the rich. The reason why they don't go after the rich before is because they didn't have the resources to go after the rich. If only we give them more resources, I promise you they go after the rich. The only reason they don't go after the rich is because going after the rich is hard. Give them more money, they go after the rich. Give them more money, they go after the rich. Give them more money, they go after the rich. She was the one. And then all the boutique left, all the progressives fell in line and started repeating it because they saw Katie Porter saying it. Now, back to reality. Something that the boutique left knows nothing about. Down to the substance, stuff you'll never see on TYT and the boutique left channels. The IRS, Biden's IRS, plans to raid workers' tips. So, the narrative that they played, that they tricked people with, where, oh, we're going to expand the IRS. We need to give a capitalist institution more power to decrease the power of capitalists. Explain to me how that makes sense. I, and people at RBN, people who know theory and understand how government and this kind of stuff works, we told you guys this last year. CJ, how does this make sense? If they have more resources, why would they use more resources to get less by going after the rich instead of using that resource and marketing it? And go after
the IRS agent, one agent, that person's salary is more than the money they're going to be collecting from any fucking worker.
So fucking dumb. They think the IRS, with all this money, is gonna go after the rich instead of going after more poor people and pocketing that and getting those salary bonuses.
But we have to ask the question: why would the IRS go after the poor? We have to understand capitalism needs an underclass. They need people to be poor. They need people to want to take these low wage jobs. So why do they have? Because they see Americans can't be getting no leg up. What do you mean? You guys are Venmoing to help people with healthcare? Fuck that shit. That's taxed. Yep. You can't. They're not allowing any sort of coming together as a community to uplift. We're gonna figure out how to tax that shit to yank that shit from you, because you're not gonna build up anything to challenge capital. And that's what they're doing. And Katie Porter and AOC just went along and played along with that and sold us all this bullshit.
Yes. And that's why people say, oh, why are you criticizing the best we have? AOC and them the best we have. No, they manufactured consent for this. AOC and Katie Porter for months was talking about how great expanding the IRS will be. And it led to this. Let me read the sub-headline. I'll read a little bit more of the article, and I'll pass it to you, CJ. A coming crackdown on the $1.6 billion in unreported tips will continue the IRS long and ugly history. That part is important because it's not new. I'm not telling you guys anything sophisticated. I am telling you guys something that everyone on the left knew. The IRS is a corrupt capitalist institution that imposes regressive filing fees on the working class while ignoring the rich. But meanwhile, the NATO left, the boutique left, is here to flip everything on top of its head. The boutique left, AOC, is here to cultivate a dumb left. Anna Kasparian is here to cultivate a dumb left. Now, a fact that we all knew, a long and ugly history of targeting low-income Americans. It went from that to now the left position was, we need to fund the IRS to go after the rich. You guys see how social democrats, Bernie Sanders, and that faction of the left exists to dumb down workers? Now I've been seeing this cancer. I've been seeing this cancer of people supporting funding the IRS because they're reflectively against it because Matt Gaetz tweets against it. It's unbelievable.
These professional managerial class and how we're teamed up, they're really fucking over workers and poor people. And we have to understand, because this story, Nick, illustrates what Malcolm X and MLK. These are white moderate. We need to update the understanding, because there's no longer white people who are doing the position. The role of white moderate is literally now the updated version of white moderate that he spoke about. It's progressive. And this story is proving and showing that. Oh, the IRS is doing this because they're just more concerned about civility and order. And their leadership wants this. So I'm not going to push back against it. We want to go after the poor people so that they can't build up a movement. And we have these leftist people who are shielding that strategy of extracting wealth from poor people. This is what makes them the white moderate. They claim to be our friends. They claim to be here to help the worker. And they're doing exactly the opposite. Go ahead, Nick.
That's perfectly said, CJ. I'm going to read a little bit of this article, and then I got one more receipt on the story. Just to show you guys some more context here. When President Joe Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act last year, the White House touted how the bill's $80 billion in new funding for the IRS will make our tax code fairer by cracking down on millionaires, billionaires, and corporations that evade their obligation. It now appears, who could have predicted this, that some of those resources and some of the coming crackdown on tax evasion will quite predictably, and to be fair, this outlet or this writer did predict this as well, because I'll kind of spoil it because that's the story I want to get to later. They quite predictably aimed at individuals earning considerably less. So literally everyone who has any basic knowledge, CJ, was like, okay, Jim Crow Joe is about to spend the IRS to go after poor people. Literally everybody whose good faith saw what was happening, not just RBN. I was calling it out, but it's easy to call out. Like, how do you not get that right? How is that not obvious that's what's going to happen? This week, the Treasury Department and IRS announced plans to overhaul existing programs that track tips earned by service sector workers. The new Service Industry Tip Compliance Agreement program will take advantage of advancement in point-of-sale time and attendance systems and electronic payment settlement methods to improve tip reporting compliance. Now, check this out. The IRS estimates that they could collect $1.6 billion in tax out of tips. Sorry, let me read that again. $1.6 billion in tips went unreported during 2016. So they are launching this massive program, CJ, to get $1.6 billion. I know you were thinking, oh, that's a lot of money. That's nothing. $1.6 billion? Nigga, that's probably like Walmart tax fraud alone. Let alone the tax fraud and schemes that the ruling class is pulling.
1.6 billion. When you're Amazon should be paying literally tens of billions of dollars. Just that's one company. So when you're talking about they're extracting this money from workers and tips, like just think about that, Nick. And when I was a server, I had to report my tips in a machine. This is what capitalists do. Nigga, you ain't getting no advantage, motherfucker.
Yeah.
We've created the system to debilitate you, so you have to be here a worker bee, and you think you're about to get a step up? Fuck you. That's what the system is telling us.
Yeah.
And they ain't allowing no step up at all. This is why, Nick, JB got an increase in one thing, Social Security, you're getting a decrease in disability, motherfucker, because you ain't building no nest to get no advantage. Go ahead, Nick.
That's such an important point because 1.6 billion, CJ, that's nothing. Like, so this is not like because they want to raise more money. Because they want to raise more money, they will go after the ruling class. This is a flex. This is an assault on workers. Just so capitalists, like, you will know your fucking place. It's a power move that these people do.
Right.
It ain't really want to raise money. They find different ways to do it. But they launched this new program. And especially after this, and we all learning, we all becoming better people living within the capitalist empire, which is impossible. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. We can only do the best we can. But after this story, I implore everyone here, and I mean this sincerely here, I'm gonna start doing this as well. I'm gonna be better with this as well. Tip using cash. Never, ever tip on the bill. Never. And one thing, I'm not saying I'm the best at this either, but we must, as a proletariat, become more disciplined revolution. Because they got this, we need to keep the shit on the table. Tip your people with cash.
Yeah. That's such a great point. That's a great point because when I was a server, I had to report the tips that I got on credit cards. But you think I put in tips? I got in cash, nigga. Fuck you! Like you gonna fucking tax me? And they all knew it. I ain't putting no fucking tip in there for you. Like the tip. This is what capitalism doing. The tip. They act like the tip is turning us into the Rockefellers, nigga. The tip is only allowing us to make ends meet, and they're saying we don't want you to be able to make ends meet.
And how fucked is that? And that's a whole conversation. Like our capitalist system is so rapacious that they pushed the cost of increasing wages on the consumer instead of just paying the person a living wage. Now it's upon us. It's like, why are you not tipping well? Then why are you not paying your fucking employee well? Which I do. I am a heavy advocate of tipping well. I think it's a generous thing to do. I think it's a great way to spread love among the proletariat. It's nasty to get a bad tip, and it's still nasty to give a bad tip. So I am an advocate of tipping well. But with that said, we should not live in a system where the wage is dependent on the consumer. We need to seize the means of production and do what every other developed country do. Do you not have these waitresses living on $2 an hour and rely on the consumer for them to have a living wage?
This is literally the whole business model of DoorDash. This is literally it. It's the drivers are making money. Oh, I'm making a lot of money, nigga. The customer's paying that. You know how much you got from the company out of the $15 they paid you? $3. That's how they're fucking scamming everybody. The customer, the tip is being included not as something extra on top of the value of your labor. It's being included and packaged as, no, all of this goes for your labor. It's the sort of things that capitalists have developed and willing to do and how they carved it out in law. This is very important. It's carved out in law, these sort of little things they can do to keep capital going. They treat businesses, our system, Nick, even our tax system, treats businesses better than they treat humans.
Yeah, it's wild. So last thing I'm gonna share on the story, and then I want to move on to the next part of this, because you guys see how the progressives manufacture consent towards this here, to support the IRS, and this show how they are class enemies, because this is not new. As Katie Porter and AOC and the entire progressive apparatus was manufacturing consent that the left position to support this corrupt IRS institution, Biden's IRS in 2022 went after the very poorest taxpayers after Biden increased the funding of the IRS. So literally, as they was gaslighting people, mid-gaslight, IRS was fucking people over with more funding. The portrayal of these progressives knows no bounds. So I'm showing you guys this to let you guys know this is not new, because this is the program. I'm sorry, this is the program that the IRS just announced, but this is not new shit. They was doing it in 2022 too, going after the workers. So the Marxist approach is not to reform the capitalist institutions, to destroy them and completely replace it with a new economic system and model. And under a Marxist system, you're not going to have a system that imposes regressive fines and fees on workers the way the IRS does.